You are a student of disruptive innovation. Everything you do, the genomic revolution, industrial innovation, next generation internet, we're all about that. Why don't you disrupt the financial services industry? Because it's broken. It's broken, and it has to do with this idea of allocating capital to its highest and best use. You do not do that by investing in the past. You do that by investing in the future.
Over the past few years, Cathie Wood has gained tremendous popularity in the investment world. And given her past year's unbelievable track record, it's no wonder why Cathie and her team took the financial world by surprise. But this begs the question, what makes Cathie Wood so special? In this video, we will be taking a deep dive into the world of Cathie Wood, as well as how she developed her ruthless approach to investing in innovation and disruptive technologies, which led her to creating one of the most successful investment firms in recent history. If you enjoyed this video and this is your first time here, consider subscribing to Ark Invest and hit the notification bell so you are notified of every time there's a new video. Now sit back and relax, and let's take a deep dive into Cathie Wood's background. Catherine Duty Wood was born in November 26, 1955 in Los Angeles, California from immigrant parents. Her father, being an Air Force engineer, moved quite often from base to base, and this ended up making it hard for Cathie to settle down any meaningful connections on any single place for far too long. By the age of 12, she had already moved over 10 times between different states, as well as overseas to England and Ireland, where her parents are from. Now, this didn't deter her from having big aspirations, and being the oldest child, she felt the need that she needed to set an example for her family. Cathie ended up working for vendors and restaurants to pay for her tuition, and in 1981, she graduated from the University of Southern California with a degree in Bachelor's of Science and Economics. She started her career at the age of 20 as an assistant economist after being introduced to Capital Group by the famous economist Arthur Laffer, who happened to be her mentor at the time. Now, just as a quick recap, Laffer is mostly known for introducing the Laffer curve, which is a graph that shows the correlation of taxes and government earnings. And this graph basically illustrates that as tax rates increase, the government earns more, but at some point, when the rates become too high, the curve shows a decline in earnings from taxpayers. And this became crucial for governments to learning how to balance government earnings, and it was also useful for Cathie into her economist journey. Cathie ended up working her way up as a chief economist and portfolio manager after moving to Jennison Associates in New York City. And it was at this time that she began her journey into formulating a major difference between the traditional market mindsets and the future of investing as a whole.
I started thinking about the markets in a way that began to differ from the way markets are analyzed today. I couldn't cover something that someone else obviously was covering at the firm. So I had to wait for new ideas to come along, ideas that sort of fell through the cracks that nobody wanted. I often say I was like a little dog under the table scrapping for bones. And these stocks came along one by one. They were usually new companies coming to market, Reuters and Telerate being one of them. Nobody wanted database publishing companies, and I thought, wow, that's a very interesting concept. So I picked it up. That concept ended up becoming the World Wide Web and the internet. So an idea that was dismissed or discarded as falling through the cracks, I wanted, and I ran with that kind of an idea. That is what made my career, but also made me appreciate innovation, the power of innovation, how much it's underestimated in the early days, and how exponentially explosive growth can be over time.
During the harsh crash of the dot-com bubble between 1998 and 2001, Cathie became a hedge fund manager for a fund that she co-founded called Tubello Capital Management, and she ended up managing up to $800 million in global ceramic strategies. And it was during this crucial period in time that further helped her solidify her strategies by focusing more on the future of companies rather than the trader mentality. And just as an extreme example, traders who bought Amazon back in 1997 and then all of a sudden ended up selling it just in 1999 thinking that the company was going to go bankrupt could have made over 180,000% over the long haul. And although I know that this is an extreme example, it is a good testament to the differences between time in the market and time in the market, as well as the differences between companies that are innovating versus companies that don't grow as much and prioritize profits above all. Cathie decided to take this as an opportunity to do the complete opposite of the benchmark rules for the market.
Tech and telecom bust in the early 2000s. Our business the people in our business have basically moved closer to their benchmarks. They're measured by their benchmarks. They define risk by their benchmarks. Benchmarks are where they are, so the stock market indexes are where they are, because of what has happened historically. I believe the message I was getting and the way I'm living is that I had to abandon that and actually invest in the future, which I've always done. Now, investing should be about the future, right? But people have become risk averse. There's career risk, there's business risk. There are all kinds of reasons to stick close to safety. So our investment style is all about disruptive innovation, the new creation.
Cathie Wood's former boss, Lisa Charlotte, ended up expanding a little bit on Cathie Wood's work ethic, and she ended up saying, and quote, "Cathie is insatiably curious. She was a voracious consumer of research from all over the street. She read everything from everyone. She was tireless, and she works 24/7 to make sure her team has the most thorough research and differentiated view." Now, later on, for 12 years, between 2001 and 2013, Cathie became the CEO of the global thematic strategies at AllianceBernstein, and it was during this time that she faced one of the biggest challenges in her career during the housing crash between 2008 and 2009. During these harsh times, her strategies ended up paying massively. Just taking a look into this graph, we see that she continuously outperformed the S&P 500 by a cumulative of 17% since the bottom of the market in March 2009. And thanks to this, Alliance celebrated her and her team's performance at her 10 years anniversary while simultaneously managing 200 research analysts globally and $5 billion in assets. And this leads us to one of the largest accomplishments of Cathie Wood, which was the creation of Ark Invest. And contrary to many hedge fund managers, Cathie Wood has a much deeper side and has always been a person of strong spiritual faith. And it was this that during the years of enduring hardships, not just in the market but also in her personal life during her divorce, that she found the answer to the future of investing precisely in her faith.
I've always had the gift of faith, and faith is a gift. As a child, I had the gift, and I knew it. The Holy Spirit has guided my entire life, and I've known that. The Holy Spirit hit me over the head with a business idea and basically said, "You are a student of disruptive innovation. Everything you do, the genomic revolution, industrial innovation, next generation internet, we're all about that. Why don't you disrupt the financial services industry? Because it's broken. It's broken, and it has to do with this idea of allocating capital to its highest and best use. You do not do that by investing in the past. You do that by investing in the future." And what came to me was a research ecosystem that we're using now, that we call open source research. It involves social media, crowdsourcing. It involves a platform where we bring professors and private equity and venture capital. We cannot do it alone. It's not possible for a research organization in one company to do this alone, because too much is changing too quickly. In 2014, I formed ArK, ArK, Investment Management. When I was going through difficulties in the different markets, what I would often do is open the Bible, just randomly. God, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. How often did I come across the Ark of the Covenant? The Ark of the Covenant. And I knew I had to name this company ArK.
Cathie ended up spending over $5 million from her personal savings and over 3 years building Ark Invest, and she never once considered giving up as an option.
Even if this company fails, I know I've done the right thing. This is a walk of faith for me, your will be done. What we were really doing was encouraging the new creation, God's new creation. We were allocating capital to its highest and best use, transformative technologies that were going to change the world and make it a better place, while the rest of the world started investing in the past, which they thought was safe. Today, the tables are flipped. So we feel like we've done the right thing.
Today, it's fair to say that Ark Invest's track record is something that has come completely unprecedented and has taken the world by storm. It has been a testament to the power of investing in innovation and companies that are disrupting the markets for a better future. She has even been named the best stock picker of 2020 by Bloomberg News editor-in-chief Emeritus Matthew A. Winkler. And this is precisely because she and Ark believe in the power of long-term investing, as well as the 5 platforms of innovation, which are DNA sequencing, energy storage, robotics, artificial intelligence, and blockchain.
Innovation platforms. What do we consider an innovation platform? We center our research on something called Wright's Law. Wright's Law is, and you'll get this sense of exponential growth here, Wright's Law says that for every cumulative doubling in units produced, costs decline at a consistent rate. So the innovation platforms that are evolving today, you can see on the right there. And what we're trying to communicate here is we have never been in a period of innovation like we are now. If we were measuring this on the Richter scale in terms of impact on the global economy, this would be a 9 compared to maybe a 5 or 6 in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So you can see you have to look back that far to the late 1800s, early 1900s to see multiple innovation platforms evolving at the same time. So back then, as I mentioned, telephone, electricity, internal combustion engine. Today, you can see the 5 innovation platforms are the biggest bubbles on this chart. But there are other technologies. Each of the 5 is going to be multiple $trillion of market cap, we believe, in the financial markets during the next 5 to 10 years.
And just taking a look into her flagship ETF's top pick holdings, we can see that at least 1 or more of these platforms are being used by her companies. Tesla is often one of the greatest examples with the energy storage, robotics, autonomous vehicles or robots.
So we have a robotics, autonomous vehicles or robots. Energy storage, they will be electric. Artificial intelligence, they will be powered by artificial intelligence. Transportation as a service.
And companies with Crispr Therapeutics, with DNA sequencing and gene editing are also great examples that are revolutionizing the way that we care for humanity to help put an end to incurable diseases. Now, we're not going to be going into deep details about these companies in this video, but if you want to learn more about CRISPR, you can click on this video to the left, in which I ended up covering in more detail the genomics companies under ArKK from Ark Invest. And if you also want to learn more about Tesla, you can also click on this video where I go more in depth about Tesla's multiple business ventures. Now, in conclusion, Cathie Wood's passion for innovation and always striving for the future has demonstrated her ability to foresee massive opportunities ahead of everyone else. And if you enjoyed this video, I want to say that if you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing to Ark Invest and hit the notification bell so you get notified next time there is a new video. I would love to see your opinions in the comment section below, as well as your thoughts about Cathie Wood and whether or not you think that her strategies are the best way to go for the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.